I don't even need to introduce this one. It's the 2025 Worlds Finals, and believe me, you're gonna want to watch this one until the very end. It is one for the ages. No mucking around, let's get straight into the recap. The first play of Game 1 sees Peter, Cuzz, and BDD collapse on Oner, who's just trying to take his crab, but that crab will come at the cost of first blood.
As far as the jungle pool is going to find the first skirmish.
Cuzz kicking things off, Keria waiting off to the side, TP already used, flash backwards, the concussive blow stacking, Oner 2, they got him! Manages to lock him down, and that's going to be first blood. They're donating it to BDD.
Now let's head on down to bot lane, where a nice flash bait from Guma leaves Deokdam open for a Keria gank, but Guma's TP might have been a bit preemptive here.
2021 as Deokdam
going in, Hunter's volley not quite enough. Now Keria is looking to finish the job himself. Slowly but surely the Poppy whittling him down. Deokdam forced to flash away, but Keria hungry for blood. A little bit more time, the Q flash forward. Deokdam with a bit of a sidestep, extra movement speed, trying to make it through the minions. Deokdam living for an extra moment, avoiding the angle back into the wall. Keria gets the knockback, the clutch coming out, 1-for-1 in the bottom lane.
And Deokdam tries to get Guma, pays for it with his life, but he does get the trade back.
Okay, now they're going to gank bottom lane too. Guma's trying to push the wave in. They're going to punish him.
Flash.
The wraparound. Braum is there. Wukong is there.
Deokdam on the way down. He won't be there in time. However, Unbreakable Peter looking to mark him up. Concussive blows finally hitting. Auto attack reset more than enough. Gumayusi falls at the hands of Cuzz.
Keria, knowing Perfect has no vision, looks to stabilize his top side, but a missed ult from Doran leads this play awry, and KT respond viciously.
Arrow that hit, it's a similar story for Guma. So for Deokdam to take this away from Guma and have a good game is crucial for KT's game plan, as the ulti doesn't connect from Doran. That's crushing. Very likely would have been a sure thing on the initial kill, and now Perfect wants to go for the all-in. Keria on the way up, but Perfect is completely overheated. Buying a bit more time to overheat now as he turns back into the wave. Damage coming in, and the rest of the team has arrived. Spinning right on top of Doran, it is a cyclone. Keria running for his life, concussed, taken down. KT dominating Game 1.
Just a whole ton of beautiful micro in this fight. Watch it first, and let's break it down after, because there's something you'll miss. Trust me.
Can be crucial, can deny some of the members of KT access to the pit here, but it's a very slow, drawn-out secure. BDD marking Doran on the flank. Arrow starting to rain. Peter getting chunked out. A flashback from Perfect. T1 chipping away at those resources. Eyes on the equalizer. Redemption now used. Cooldown up just in time. KT is going, but now they want to turn it right back. Instantaneous equalizer. Keria locked up. Rumble coming in, but denied. Keria wants to knock Perfect out of the fight, but it might not matter because it's Doran into the back line. Oner stays standing. Cuzz take it down. T1 fired back.
No matter the early deficit, T1, they still win the team fight. They still get the dragon, and they're looking for BDD.
On the hunt for BDD, but there's just nowhere for him to go in the blink of an eye. KT's lead disappears.
So firstly, Keria's beautiful instant W reaction to cut off the engage from Cuzz's Wukong. This is so impressive on so many levels. Cuzz even flashed. Next, the insane Crescent Sweep from Oner Xin Zhao splits the teamfight apart, giving Doran a direct line for his public execution onto Deokdam. Actually insane mechanics from all involved to throw T1 a lifeline in this game. With the completed Maw of Malmortius, Doran's Mbessa approaches the Atakan fight on a very strong spike. But with only a 1200 gold difference, this Atakan is still gonna take some doing, and it is a long fight.
In the fight if it comes down to the 5v5. Flash forward, ulti into the back, immediately things get kicked off, but Peter does his best to heroically disengage. It is not enough to keep Deokdam standing. Cuzz taken out as well. Doran in the 3v1, completely and totally unfazed. Keria there to stop any further follow-up. Faker taking down Perfect, and BDD is not enough to stop T1.
And it's the Crook Lord that finds his mark. Deokdam goes down, and T1 turn onto Atakan.
Doran, the addition to this T1 roster, annihilated him.
Hello.
Resetting, resistance is shredded by the Atakan. Keria, ward over the wall, spots out Cuzz. T1 know it's a 50-50 now. 5 seconds on Deokdam, but he doesn't have access to a TP to make it to the fight any faster. Perfect TP available. BDD finds the angle into Doran. Keria now backing up. 3K on the objective. Getting lower. Steadfast presence gone. Faker on the backside. Cuzz wants to try to make it out of this one, but now they're moving in advantage. Take out Guma. No, Guma living. Wizards like to finish him. Looking for a bit more damage, but T1, they find the double for Keria. They take the Thornbound Atakan, and Perfect. It is too little. It is too late.
T1 approach this objective really showing their experience, constantly prepping waves so that no matter the outcome of the fight, KT is always losing experience and gold and can't take towers. But with this fight, Keria really shows why Poppy has one of the highest win rates at Worlds 2025.
It does have access to the Sundered Sky. Objective reset now. Eyes on those support cooldowns as well. Keria's ulti, the Unbreakable for the Braum will be important as T1 already getting mid-prio. Doran fishing for the flank once again. Ready to come over the wall with the public execution. Keria going into the wall, locking up Cuzz. Instantaneous knockup! A flawless combo to keep it going. Deokdam finally escapes, but he just finds himself in a 1v1 versus Doran. Hope fading fast for the side of KT as Keria is still standing. Perfect in BDD running for the hills. T1 grabbing their second Drake, but Oner not done yet. Knocks Peter out as well.
Extending their gold lead to almost 5k, T1 look to control Baron, but despite having a decently sized lead, BDD is still at level 17 and can carry if he's not respected.
Game looked dire as well. TP comes in from Faker. Won't have his ult. Oner goes in.
Catch him out. Unbreakable used to kick off the fight. That's the ulti from Gumayusi. Good response coming in from Perfect, but the damage not really enough. Ulti does not connect from Doran. Knockback from Keria takes BDD out of the equation. And once again, it's Doran on top of Deokdam. Concussive blows buy him an additional second. Perfect running. The flick back likely to come through as Faker tries to get the damage down, but now he finds himself in a brief 2v1. Goes golden. Knocked back into the wall. Keria there right in time as KT are effortlessly dismantled. Doran dropping Perfect as well.
With Oner on the flank, KT think they found a pick, but instead of backing off, Giga Chad Oner dives right in and creates an opening for Keria and Doran, whose, again, more of Malmortius gets insane value. And Perfect misclicks right after.
In from Faker. Denied a bit by Peter, and it's Oner now on the flank looking for Cuzz. Not sure if he's found him. Cuzz turning right back onto Oner. Oner instantaneously into the back line. The concussive blows there, as is the perfect execution. Keria in the thick of it. Gumayusi and Faker untouched coming over the wall, but it's Faker. Full confidence. It's the flash, but unfortunately the flip back goes wide. Doran turns it right back with a sundering blow. KT pulling away. Man advantage for the side of T1 being ushered out. Keria wants to deny it, but he will only be able to isolate Perfect. The Baron still backing them up. The Dragon in their sights. T1 once again taking a fight.
With Baron back on the map, T1 forced the hand of KT into a face check, and rightly so. They're ahead 9k gold. KT's only chance now is a steal, but T1 have Keria Poppy, and Doran re-engages.
And this is just going to be gone if they don't make a play. It's going to be a big realm warp. But you're realm warping possibly straight into your doom, and they're not even going to get the chance.
Cuzz taken out of the equation. 6k getting lower. KT start to flounder. They decide it's not worth it. They decide they don't want it. Instead, they're going to turn their sights to the Drake, spawning in 4 seconds. T1 already have secured the Baron on the back of a keeper's verdict from Keria. Now they might just look to end it here. Flash forward. Perfect execution. Aptly named as Deokdam takes him down. KT now chasing out as well. BDD trying to well more back into the rest of the team. But Keria once again there to interrupt. Doran unfazed by the magic damage of BDD. It's a double kill coming through. Perfect and Cuzz, the last two left standing. But a TP into the base to bring back and seal the deal in game one. T1, what a performance.
Well, after a pretty rocky early, T1 settled their nerves and let their experience shine by stabilizing their mid lane. I can't read today. Well, after a pretty rocky early, T1 settled their nerves and let their experience shine by stabilizing their mid game and translating it into a dominating win on the back of insane team fighting from Doran and Keria. Let's begin Game 2. Game 2 kicks back off with the classic Nico cannon minion dive from KT. How is this still allowed?
Peter were on the way there, and now they're looking at Guma.
KT getting aggressive, just knocking down Gumayusi, taking first blood as Peter flawlessly turns into the Canyon minion to eat countless tower shots.
With not much else happening around the map, the mid-jungle duos of both teams enter a spicy 2v2 to heat things back up.
Pressure, and the team is built around a Sivir Lulu comp here. While there's possibilities elsewhere.
Nice side set from BDD, just barely able to get away. Vault Breaker coming in for Cuzz, opts not to flash. The turn back from Oner is solid. Faker now on the way in himself, trying to use the golden clips to keep things going. The Ezreal ulti across the top. BDD grabbing one. Faker will turn it back, but he's under the tower, and it's Cuzz to take him down.
With more focus onto the performing BDD Mel, Faker and Oner look for a gank top, but KT are ready to respond and translate into Herald.
This fights because, again, T1, there's only 2 big carries, but this early on, the damage is still there as BDD.
BDD potentially caught out, layering in the CC a little bit off. BDD unstoppable for a brief moment, ready to use the ulti, but Faker is stolen, one away. The goal in the clips, but the follow-up is there from Peter. Makes it a 1-for-1. Vault Breaker coming in. Faker just CC'd for an eternity. The Kingslayer healing not available in time as Cuzz is on a killing spree.
After another rocky early from T1, a 5v5 gathers mid in anticipation for Dragon. dragon, and an opening onto Cuzz kicks this extremely close skirmish off. Also, little hint, watch BDD. This guy is insane on Mel.
Soul point themselves.
Faker's ulti available. Needs to hijack the ulti of Peter. Chip really starting to hurt onto Doran. Catch over the wall onto Cuzz, the most fed member. They're immediately going to delete him, and the rest of KT try to pull the trigger, but they can't quite find the angle. BDD, Deokdam, they've got the range advantage. Peter waiting to peel for them if necessary. Perfect. Spots them in the darkness. The tremor sense showing him what he needs to see, but they've stopped moving or have moved out of range. He can't be certain now. The Q from Doran moving in. Peter still gets the ulti. It's a golden eclipse from BDD. A new dawn for KT in game 2, but T1 are unconcerned. Guma, Keria standing, the bot lane. Will it be enough? BDD trying to buy her back, but it's Gumayusi fearlessly advancing, ricocheting, tearing through the dreams of KT.
Deokdam.
Flash.
Another
So
fight
Guma's
breaking out in
able
the
to
meantime.
follow.
Guma potentially caught out. Cuzz looking for a bit of revenge. Oner doesn't quite make it over the wall with the flag and drag, but the ball breaker taking him to safety, and Gumayusi does not care. Look at that record at the bottom of your screen. He might have faltered in the early game. He might have been behind in game 1 and game 2, but this man is a team-fighting demon. The dragon starting to fall. Turn back from Faker as he catches out Deokdam. Cuzz there to try and peel, but it is too late. Oner moving in. A cataclysm across the top side. Perfectly canceled. BDD flashing over the wall. Gumayusi still living. Perfect on the chase. Peter wants to fire back. Cuzz running for the hills. 2 down on the side of T1, but Guma might be enough. Perfect gets the bite. Tears right through him, and now it's Oner picked off as well. KT fighting for their lives. BDD still standing. Crucially, the extra damage. Doran set to fall.
With the game weighing quite heavily in the favor of KT, with Baron now on the map, mid-control looks to be established. But how is this next play even allowed to happen? Is this Bouse in the game?
And BDD have been very critical. Now, though, Doran is looking at Deokdam.
Deokdam, unaware of the Scion, but knows that he has relative safety. Has to be careful about walking forward towards that brush. And Doran perfectly placed and baited Deokdam. Far too confident.
Doran lying in wait makes Scion look like an assassin here. Walks into the charged up Q, and that is the perfect play.
Such a good sell there as well, but oh, KT, they're turning the tables on them.
Buy
Want
it.
to start the sneak.
No.
Buy it.
Oh, no. I think they're
KT.
there you go. They're aware.
Now they spot it, but how quickly are they taking it? It's a Mel with a death cap.
We don't know. Look at where Oner is.
Now ready to turn back, but still Cuzz continues to hit the target. BDD ready to clear the wave. Doran not afraid to walk up. He knows they don't really have the damage to finish the kill.
Doran smells it.
Cuzz 9K, but he is determined to take this objective. The blast shield keeping him relatively healthy. BDD poking off to the side. Gumayusi for now uncontested. Rebuttal already used. 4 seconds till Deokdam is up and available, and he has the TP.
The subsequent play from KT here to rush to Baron after the pick on Deokdam was amazing. This really prevented T1 from getting anything while Deokdam was dead, and by the time they looked to make a move, he was already respawned and TPing back mid. Really great macro from KT. With a few minutes of farming out of the way, T1 looks to establish vision in KT's jungle, but a quick response from KT ensures they don't get much done, and an amazing backline dive from Perfect gives KT the fight they need.
In the river, but he is Ezreal.
Deokdam, pass over the wall. Peter looking to make a play. Lockdown onto Faker, looking to turn it back. Root is connected as well. Faker's been caught. Buys a brief moment with the Seekers. The rest of T1 retreating. Perfect buying a bit more space, and the tunnel over the wall. It's a heist. He buys the time to take Faker down. Doran with a decimating smash. Peter on the chase. They'll only connect onto one, but it's enough to start the fight in their favor. Gumayusi untouched, but he's also not able to do any damage. Cuzz keeping it going. KT pushing into the jungle of T1, zoning them away from the Baron as they set their sights on that Red Bull Baron power play.
They win the critical fight. They find Faker. They get the advantage, and Perfect is able to escape. Wait a second.
BDD flash. Doran forced to flash back over the wall. Sidestep on the decimating smash. Peter there to cover. Guma can't push for anything else. Doran getting chunked out. That's the ulti to seal it. BDD going godlike. Guma alone in the mid lane. Objective slowly falling. Oner zoned off. Perfect there with the knockup. Needs to lock it down. Oner's not going to have a chance. KT, it takes some time, but they take down the Baron.
The next objective to control for KT is Dragon Soul, and despite a smart engage from Doran, this gold gap might be insurmountable.
KT starting to retreat, starting to get forced backwards. Doran to kick things off. Peter to look for the interrupt. Faker using an ulti of his own to be stolen away. BDD taking out the fight, but down goes Guma. Cuzz making it work, but PD's owned away by Keria, and all of KT KT now collapsing on the T1 support. At the end of the day, it is only Oner, and he cannot stop the soul.
So, who gave this guy his drifting license? Some bad driving here might be the end in T1 for Game 2.
Walking into the jungle, this time around, Doran won't be able to find the blind decimating smash, but the ulti to kick things off, he connects onto the wall. Perfect waiting on the back line. Deokdam untouched, BDD untouched. Doran straying way too far forward in a moment of miscommunication. Down goes the top laner of T1. KT start the Baron. T1, a last desperate hold here in Game 2. If they can turn it back, it takes them to match point, but KT set to even up the series in the 2025 World Finals. Doran isolating Cuzz. Peter going forward, finds 3 with the knockup. Perfect there to fall, but Faker turns it right back and knocks down Peter. Deokdam, BDD, still standing. Bakuma! He's shredding through everybody! The Sivir finally allowed to take over the fight, but they managed to take him. Faker's still alive in the scrappy fight. The extra healing is making all the difference. Deokdam doesn't quite have the damage that he needs. KT holding on for dear life. Deokdam able to find the kill. Perfect. Cuzz, Deokdam falls. A final hold for T1. It almost turns in their favor, but Perfect is going to end the game. Guma dies, and so does T1. KT even up the series.
After a 42-minute game, we're finally into Game 3, and the series is shaping up to be a heater. And after a pretty slow start, first blood comes subsequent to T1's first dragon.
Too worried. Hex Drake down. BD waiting in the darkness. Multi-man. The CC layering is there. Deokdam on the way in, but he's only level 4. Oner now running for his life. Forced to flash away. Ulti comes out from Faker. He doesn't have a lot of mana left. The Dark Sphere hitting, slowing Faker down. The chase coming through, but they really don't have what they need. Ulti there. His power unleashed. The weak scattered. And first blood for KT.
With Drake number 2 up for grabs, KT look for an engage. And this turns out to be one of the most long-winded fights of the entire series.
Continuing to do decent damage. Infernal, good damage as well. Lock up there, but Oner going unstoppable. Peter caught out for a brief moment, immediately going to be forced to ult. That's the Unbreakable. The flash, it doesn't connect. The Q doing absolutely nothing means T1 are able to walk away. A bit of a fumble from Peter, but it doesn't cost KT much yet. Gumayusi standing on the backside, ready to transcend if he needs to. Deokdam going all in to try to stop him from getting his fight. Oner on the way in, looking for the reset to keep the fights going. BDD going over, wants to kill Oner, but Oner lives for an extra second. The stun to turn it back. Oner taking over BDD, but the stun does not connect, and Peter's now running. Cuzz locked down in the meantime. Perfect is finally here, but it might not matter. Reset on the ulti from Oner means he gets to back away, but the health bars are low across all of T1. KT, this is an insane gamble. Objective, lower and lower, and Cuzz gonna take it unstoppable for Perfect. Gets a bit more space. Keria still living. Deokdam on the way in, and Guma set the fall. Down goes the 80 carry. Deokdam on the way out. The TP in. Fished in a barrel, and it's time for KT to start free firing. T1 thought they had the edge, but in the end, it's KT.
As Herald spawns, T1 finds a flank on Deokdam, but try as he might, this Oner guy's getting pretty fed.
There's the flank.
From behind, flashing forward, Keria's gonna find the knock on to Deokdam, but Peter beautifully stopping the initial engage. Doran from behind, though, more than enough to knock down that 80 carry. KT running.
Huge TP flank. What? It turns into more.
Peter flash out. Reset from Oner. Unstoppable for a moment. Oner setting up for the angle, but he's not going to overcommit. Reset on the ulti.
Dragon number 4 is up for grabs, and this Chemtech would put KT at soul point. Recognizing this, T1 unite toward bot lane and make a concentrated effort to control River, with Faker taking mid push. But this passage might be a bit split.
Well, we'll see. T1 might give up the Drake and then play for the objective instead. Perfect.
Oner lurking in the darkness. Perfect unstoppable for a brief moment. T1 happy to have the poke, chipping away at that health bar.
Oh, they're pincering them.
KT losing control of that tri-brush is big. Scatter going wide, also massive. It's a huge cooldown at this point in the game. Perfect over the wall with the blast cone. Knocks back Guma. Redemption going down. Cuzz holding on to the maximum dosage as long as he can, but it's Faker off to the side. Not too isolated. 5K on the Drake. Getting lower. Eyes on Peter. The Alistair to make the play as Faker tries to zone away. KT, it's Peter in the clutch. Scatter to fall, but the fall of damage is not there. Exhausted is Faker. And Keria tries to turn it back, but he's all by his lonesome. Doran cannot get into the back line. KT managed to find the initial kill. It's perfect to pop off. Guma missing completely. They get the Drake, but it might cost T1 everything.
He flashes into the wall, and that might be the Otacon going over to KT.
Cuzz continuing to go where he damn well pleases.
Trying to wrestle control of Baron, Doran approaches, but some missed buttons gives KT an opening, and Mundo does indeed go where he pleases.
BDD to line up a multi-man scatter for it to end the fight in a blink of an eye is massive, but once again it's the flank that they're looking for. But it's Doran caught out. BDD unleashing his power. Cuzz using the maximum dosage as KT start to push into Gumayusi. He's outless, he's helpless, there's nothing he can do. Mundo pushing further and further into T1's back line.
KT are doing it!
With T1 on the back foot, a proactive play is needed, and they find it. But watch this first before I focus on a potential game-losing mistake.
Perfect can try and use Doran as an escape route. Keria has to be careful, but Pathmaker already used means that Perfect is in trouble. Q3 back through, using Keria now to escape. Perfect on his way out. It's not the Rek'Sai, but once again it feels like he's going to escape. All of KT looking to collapse. Eyes on Faker and Doran as Perfect flashes out to safety. That's the ulti used by Guma. KT pulling back, keeping Perfect alive. Doran wants to make the difference. Cuzz goes in. T1 making it happen. Guma fails to flash. It stops the fight from going through. Doran getting whittled down. And in the end, it's Cuzz again who refuses to drop. Peter with the CC. I cannot believe it. KT holding on as T1 in the end might finally get to the moon. No!
Who comes out ahead? The scrap Faker trying to chase down the extra kill, but so is Cuzz.
So because of this goal deficit, this fight was uphill and hard, but T1 definitely had an opening at one point, until this. Guma fail flashes blue wall, which cuts T1's DPS in a very crucial time. DPS time that would have given T1 a foothold in this game and potentially swung it. That's just the pressure of the finals, I guess. Now, I don't really have to say much more here than Mundo meets Chemtech Soul. This might just be a Lois playing for KT. Yeah, you get the picture.
From the darkness, finding Doran, but not the ideal carry as Guma and Faker are still untouched for now. Gravity field to lock them up. Maximum dosage. Cuzz getting lower, but still living. The Mundo refusing to die, and Gumayusi drops. KT taking it across the finish line. Faker forced back. The bot lane open. The TP there for BDD. KT moving to match point.
Tell you what, that fight where Guma fail flashed, I honestly feel if he made that, T1 could have swung game 3. Instead, it's KT's to take. T1 trail 2-1, but they've been here before. Basically every Worlds, in fact. Let's jump into game 4. First blood actually comes at the hand of an overpowering mid lane presence from BDD, bringing Faker low enough where it was almost a solo kill, and the presence of Oner isn't enough to cover.
Done. Making his way over, even getting a summoner or getting the egg would be big.
Faker grounded, Cuzz on the way in. Good wall to force the disengage, but BDD full committing even though he has no mana. They do manage to get the passive out of Faker. Cuzz full committing. Peter on the way. The tongue lash there. They want to get the kill to BDD, but it'll go to Cuzz in the end.
Now, this fight goes for ages, and what could have been a time to shine for Doran ends up giving BDD the spotlight.
50-50. Faker off to the side. Decent damage onto BDD. Oner going all in. Flashback coming out from Cuzz. Wall there as well as BDD just barely able to skirt around the edge. But the objective set up now for the side of T1, double TPs. KT want to claim it for a bit more. Ulti coming out from the side of Keria. Drake down. The backline of KT berserk as they look if they can turn it back. But again, they don't have the tools to keep the fight going unless Peter wants to flash tongue lash. But that's all their CC. Perfect fighting off to the side, dragging Faker into the death realm. In the meantime, BDD starting to walk forward. Doran potentially cut out. The 4-man! BDD showing he can be clutch in the moments that count. Turning it again. KT were losing the fight as they lost the objective. Gumayusi will not be able to make the bailout work. The Drake to T1, the fight to KT.
Oh, Doran's gonna want that one back. The big whiff on the Gragas engage there.
Peter knock up a bit too far. The thick skin, yeah, it's not gonna save you. Caught up in the hype, caught up in the moment. Faker gonna get one back.
So not much happens between that dragon and this dragon, but at least the objective fights are hype. But can someone tell me how Oner just waltzes in there and clicks smite in this fight?
KT poking their heads, and they don't really have the vision, but they do have a ward on the flank if Perfect can find his way in. We'll just take the more conventional path through the mid lane, however.
And look at the flank from Doran here, trying to hide there on the Ocean Rift, looking for a big displacement.
Herald summoned in the mid lane. 5v5 at the pit. Flash ulti available for BDD if he wants to try and find it. Perfect isolated off to the side. Hostile takeover stops Peter from going any further. Deokdam completely isolated. Cooking the barrel for just a little bit longer, and now the Drake is going to go down. Oner taking it. Deokdam isolated. And Perfect trying to force a fight with Faker, but he gets nothing as the wall comes in to interrupt. Flash over the wall. The ulti from BDD. He might get a couple more kills, but again, the objective belongs to KT. Even as T1 begin to fall, Faker and Keria are ready to turn it. But have they overcommitted the wall there? Try and disengage. Keria, Faker running into the pinch. Obliterate, connecting for full damage. Cuzz on the chase, waiting a few seconds for the pillar. But the stun, clutch to disengage for the side of T1.
Next up is Atakan Contest, but with a lead sub 1k to T1, this fight could be the swing that decides the tournament.
Well, the KT are in because T1 are collapsing, and in the meantime, waves are being deleted. It's costing KT hundreds of gold just to be here. And if T1 take the fight, it might just cost them the game.
Perfect has
sticking
ult.
around, ready to get them away. The ulti not stacked up. Perfect going forward just a little bit longer. The Death Realm to come out. Oner going to respond with an ulti of his own, turning off the lights on this team fight between both lineups. Gumayusi and Perfect in the Death Realm, and Guma takes those. T1 focusing on the objective. Cleanse used from Keria. Heal on the way. Faker finding a bit more damage. BDD isolated. Hostile takeover going to connect onto BDD. It won't have much effect as Cuzz tries to chase Faker out. But Deokdam, he might take Keria. But it's T1 taking the Otacon. Guma securing the objective.
A pretty uneventful game between objectives, but luckily we have these team fights because they're all bangers. Dragon Soul on the table and a commanding objective lead to T1, but KT still has contestable levels and the goal gap still hovers only 1k. KT's world titles hangs on this soul.
Taking that chunk of health, flash in, full committal to the fight. Pillar to isolate Oner, redemption to heal Faker right back up. That's almost every single cooldown burned. It's on BDD to try to turn it back, but it's a split fight. T1 coming from multiple sides, collapsing as Oner moves in on top of Perfect. Doran has been isolated in the Death Realm, but he'll manage to make it over. Flashback, absolutely jukes him. And now it's Perfect caught in a 1v1 with Faker right as he comes out. He is stunned, but he won't be taken down. All of T1 in the pit. The spears stacked, smites available.
Faker's going to teleport back. They're recalling Mordekaiser and the Anivia.
The fight just continues to go. 6k getting lower. Deokdam trying to get a bit of poke. Hostile takeover connecting. They don't have a cleanse. Devour from Peter is good, but it might not matter. Cuzz continuing to move in. BDD waiting over the wall. The ulti is there, but they don't need to face him yet. The turn on to Faker isn't enough. 3k. Cuzz in the pit. At the end of the day, it does not matter because it is Doran to get the soul. KT might be able to get the fight, but there's too many members of T1 standing. Ocean Soul to T1 as everybody on KT falls.
With T1 taking Ocean Soul, they can dance this Baron all day and look to force KT into a wrestle of sustain. But the clock is ticking for KT and T1 have nothing but time.
Still searching.
No
T1.
flash for BDD, that crucial piece of CC and exhaust there. But Faker just waiting in the darkness. Guma stacking up the spears, the wall to zone KT away. Flash not there for Cuzz either. BDD off on the side is going to use the ultimate. W in from Peter does absolutely nothing. T1, they see a vulnerable opponent. They know what they can do as they start to rip them to shreds. KT is not going to take a bear, and T1 reminding us why they are here, what they can do in a world final.
BDD is trying his absolute heart out to backpack his team. My god, this engage is filthy. And with all the action happening mid lane on a wave, a lost fight here spells victory or defeat.
On the top laner.
Cuzz caught out, isolated, immediate subjugate to try and stay standing, forced to flash back. BDD in the darkness! 3-man! But it's Doran to try to turn it right back! The ulti is decent. Keria wants to turn it back with a hostile takeover. The gold deficit is just too massive. Even a miracle, even an incredible angle was not enough in the face of this T1 lineup. The triple, the quadra, T1 bringing us to Silver Scrapes.
Silver Scrapes at Worlds, baby, and because it's T1, I am not at all surprised. When you're watching a series this close and just how T1 gets to this stage every single time, you can't help but wonder if this stuff is scripted. It's just almost too perfect. I won't keep you waiting any longer. Game 5 begins. So the early game last game was pretty slow. This game, not so much. First blood given over to Doran. Will he be the one to carry T1 to three-peat glory?
Pathing, he's looking for top. That's a classic.
Perfect. Needs to back up. Level 3. Getting lower and lower. Last Right's offering a bit of healing. The tactical sweep there from Doran to slow him down. Oner all but certain to make this one come through. First blood for T1. Doran's Camille takes it.
Now, I don't want to say it. Faker is obviously the king, but my god, BDD is putting on a show this Worlds.
Do I have jungle pressure to put threat behind when I move up in lane and try and taunt you? And now you don't have that pressure at all.
Q forward, sidestep, the taunt, Faker turning it back, BDD one more auto, the 1-for-1.
So yeah, Yorick is pretty immobile, and Camille is not, making getting top ahead an easy job. And with a split pusher like Yorick, side agency needs to be established. This is some smart pathing from Oner.
So that is something critical to look at. Oner is back and ganking again.
Perfect needs to get out. has the flash available, but Doran just going to immediately flash follow. The adaptive defensive, the hook shot still there. The Q back for a bit of healing, but it's not enough.
All I have to say about this play is just plot armor. That's all just plot armor.
Few things that we haven't seen from him yet this tournament is now the hookshot wall dive is there. Deokdam flashing away, but Oner's on the way as well. Ulti there, that's the Hextech ultimatum. Deokdam likely to escape, but it looks like Peter will be sacrificed in return. The hookshot, making it out, send his play back to the tower, but it might cost Keria his life. It's the 1-for-1, no! The minions flicking out! Keria walks away!
Now, nothing really happened for like 10 minutes, but I'd be pretty scared if I was KT and an almost 2-item Camille was coming to contest Drake. But that being said, BDD is on a hyperscaling smolder. So what if he just gets a fat shutdown?
Cuzz desperately needs to smite. Doesn't quite connect. Crucially, Deokdam able to get out for a brief moment. BDD now trying to turn and fire back, but Faker is on the way. Ulti going in. Doran is down. BDD still standing. The exhaust managing to take him a little bit lower, but Gumayusi sits on the back line completely untouched. BDD finally able to start opening up as Oner gets one back in return. Perfect is here to keep his mid laner alive. And there you go. KT find an angle.
So remember what I said about Doran carrying T1 to 3-peat glory?
Some summoners out of T1, but it doesn't look like they want to take the gamble.
Perfect also about to be taunted up. Has to be careful. They have so much damage here. Doran, of course, just reset the tower aggro, but he is locked down for a damn long time. Doran, untouchable for a brief moment, but they managed to kill him. T1 fumble the play in the mid lane, and perfect redemption as he survives the dive. Mom called, but she will not connect.
There is nothing to spice up a Game 5 like an Atakan fight, but where is Peter going?
Use T1 making the fast play happen. KT caught reeling, too far behind on tempo. Doran might have fallen in the previous play, but he is still damn powerful. Deokdam here. T1 pushing them back. It'll take a miracle for them to get this one out. Oner, Peter coming in for the lockup, but Oner manages to get the objective, the fight coming out. Fire rained over the wall by Gumayusi, and down goes Peter. BDD finally arrived. That's the ulti coming in the meantime. He needs a little bit more space. Deokdam, BDD untouched, but the front line has fallen. BDD, CC'd, knocked into the sky, and right back into the grave. T1, get Otacon, and ace KT.
Guma just wants this title more than anyone else. That's the answer to this fight. Not even a chopped Doran engage can stop him from winning worlds. Holy f***ing shit.
Dire straits as Faker brings it back. Wants to turn with the taunt. Initial lockup from Keria is good. Deokdam laying down a bit of poke, and he's going to be able to satchel out, but an immediate flash follow coming in from Oner. T1 don't even need the objective. They're happy to keep pushing for a bit more. On the top side of the fight, they've isolated BDD. He's continuing to fight. He wants to turn it back. He gets the kill on Doran. Crucially, Faker falls. KT hold.
BDD, the heart of KT, is alive. The smolder lives under the tower.
Player to keep your eye on as well. The ulti can do a lot of work. Doran going in, doesn't connect hookshot wall dive, immediately CC'd. Exhaust coming in as well. Combo over the top from Guma. Finds two. Exhaust as Keria moves his way to the backline. Faker rains down from the sky. Locks up BDD and obliterates the hope for KT Rolster.
Well, I may have spoken too soon. What is bro doing there?
Be denied unless KT pull out an absolute miracle. I think we're seeing Oner looking for an ult angle, sitting in that jungle, but even with the wave clear of Ziggs and Smolder, it's tough to hold on.
Doran looking to get things kicked off. Hookshot wall dive brings him over. He's taking the tower already. Flash back to get away from Cuzz's ultimate, and the ulti manages to connect from Deokdam. A big fumble. Not enough to get T1 back into full control of the game because there are no objectives.
Now, even though the pressure obviously is getting to Doran in this Game 5, it was super wholesome of his team to support him through this misplay. Just listen to the comms here.
와볼래? 저 우리.
뺄게. 빼봐. 내가 안 좋다 일단. 잠깐만. 야, 한번 쭉 가다가. 잠깐만. 야, 빼봐.
빼봐 한 번.
여기로 와봐 여기.
여기 공각 나오면 괜찮아. 할만해.
야, 이거 침착하게 심호흡 한번 해라.
괜찮아.
아니, 변할 거 없는데 심호흡 한번 해 지금. 편하게.
많이 유리해.
As T1 have done time and time again, they force the enemy to move up to Baron, but it doesn't get any more uphill than a 10k gold lead, and not even an almost 400 CS BDD can carry this one.
Even setup, but again, it's the waves in favor of T1 that make this so hard. As immediately they're going to kick things off by going in on Cuzz, taking away the Frost Armor passive. Lockdown from Keria is there. TP in from Doran as well. Ulti's going across the board. BDD cut off the side. A good flash to take him out, and Guma has to be careful, but he's so damn fast. Oner, up BDD. He goes gold in an extra 2.5 seconds to consider what went wrong as T1 looks set to end it all.
They're going to finish the job. It is Doran and Peter left alone in the mid lane. And T1 will ace them.
The Undisputed Kings. T1 win their 6th World Championship. Thank you so much for watching and being here with me through my Worlds coverage. In this period, I typed over 25,000 Worlds throughout the tournament and edited around 50 or so hours to bring you these recap videos. So I can't say how much I appreciate you being here. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.